Welcome into Court Vision, maybe the greatest episode we've recorded so far, at least for my end of recording. Knicks are NBA champions. Here we are, episode 24. This is the conclusion of the 2025-2026 season. There's no more games to be played this season. We're officially in the off season. We got to talk about the last series and last 5 games of this NBA season. I'm Luke Backman, if you can't tell, if you're new here. Huge New York Knicks fan, so I'm going to be ecstatic during this episode. My co-host Vincent Zakian with me as well. Vincent, before we start talking about everything, man, just your thoughts on the final series and maybe just a little synopsis of how you're feeling about the NBA season as a whole as it's wrapped up.
Well, I think this playoff run and finals redeemed a lot for the NBA. I don't particularly like the New York Knicks just in general, but I loved this run for so many reasons. I mean, there's really 2 big things with this Knicks run, Luke, that just kind of make it put your allegiances aside and appreciate it. And it's one kind of off the court and one kind of on the court, but both kind of blend together. On the court, it's a team that sacrificed a lot individually. A lot of really talented big names. They sacrificed in the name of winning and got it done to the ultimate extent. An extremely egoless team despite all of its talent. And I think that's the essence of sports, is putting things aside, putting egos aside in order to win. You can say that about Brunson with his contract. You could say that about Cat with certainly reduced scoring. You could say that, about Anunoby's defensive effort. You could say that about Alvarado's role in the team. Shamet not having a great finals, but being so huge in the playoff run. There's just so many things that, and they play beautiful basketball too. There's just so many ethical things about how this team played and how it came together in the playoffs in a really beautiful way that every other team in the NBA should look at and be like, man, if we didn't let our egos get in the way, we could have done something like that. And then the bigger story of all of this is off the court, is the Knicks fans, is the city of New York, a basketball town, the biggest city, obviously the most populous city in the United States, maybe the greatest city in the world. I'm sure we can have that debate another day, but seeing the pure bliss, pure joy that sports can bring you, and I don't think it would happen at this extent for the Yankees or the Mets or the Giants or the Jets. Jets pretty unrealistic in that sense, but not to bring that up, but the way it's just all come together. It's this beautiful human moment that even a bitter Philadelphia sports fan can appreciate. And I mean, I got to see the Eagles break a massive Super Bowl drought in 2017. Cubs fans got to see what happened in 2016 when they won the World Series. There are these moments we have in sports when these great American cities get to break these massive droughts, and it's unforgettable. This is a top 5 moment of the past 50 years of NBA, I would say, honestly. Yeah. And just getting to watch that was really special. And even though I don't particularly like the Knicks again, and you kind of grow to love the players and the coaches and the stories as a result of that. So that was my take on it. I'm sure you've just been living on cloud 9 for the past couple days.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mentioned right before we pressed play, I haven't gone to sleep before 2 a.m. because any piece of Knicks content, I feel like I don't even want to look at my screen time and how much time I've spent on Twitter in particular. Every Knicks tweet, it's a like, it's scroll down, it's another like. That's the entire timeline. Thank goodness. All I've been looking at YouTube, all I'm searching New York Knicks, all the videos I'm watching, it's just Knicks content through and through. It's been incredible from a team that, and we'll talk about this. The way we'll talk about this is we'll talk about Knicks for a good portion of it, and then we'll talk about the Spurs side of things here on this podcast. And before we do, make sure you like this video, comment below, let us know. Okay, since we're into the offseason, who's your favorite going into next year? Let us know who you think will win the title coming up next year. And subscribe here to Backman Sports and Vincent Zakian, his channel as well. It's been incredible. This team, like you said, they're a likable team. And I've heard people say it all over. Usually the New York teams aren't likable, or they're not the underdogs. But this team was the underdogs and just felt like the culture, the quote unquote culture, was rooting for New York, and the fan base and
Yeah.
everybody just grew together and was like, you know what? Even if we don't like New York City, if we're I saw some Boston Celtics fans on Twitter say, "I just got to respect it." Like
Yeah.
that's what you got to do. There's nothing else. You can't really hate on this team. The personalities, the style of basketball, what they were able to do. They answered every piece of criticism. I mean, we'll talk about this, but OG, Cat, both were talked about. Oh, they're going to be Finals MVP. I saw people going at Brunson for his inefficiency. Well, 45 points in Game 5 to close it out on a bum ankle. All these different things. Like, they answered every question. And it's a team that it just encapsulated, a city that I never lived in, but I can, seeing all the fans and all everything. And we're recording this on Monday, 3 days before the parade. The parade's going to be insane on Thursday. The parade is going to be insane. I can't wait to see that. But I mean, what a team, what a run. 16-3, and they lost their 3 games by a combined 6 points this postseason.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, again, I've seen people say, well, they're not an all-time great team. Okay, would I take them over the 2017 Warriors with Kevin Durant? Probably not, right? That's some of the greatest talent ever on one court. But historically, the numbers-wise, you got to put them in that same category because they're up there and surpassed a lot of teams' all-time historic records and all these different things. So it's incredible. It's like I'm going cloud 9. I can't believe it. 53 years. Obviously, I'm 23, so I haven't suffered as much as a lot of other fans. But wow, just insane series.
You carry the generational trauma of it for sure. Like, I mean, I know your dad's a Knicks fan. Like, my dad and uncle like made me Eagles fans and just like channeled 50 years of suffering onto me before we won the Super Bowl. Like, it's just you feel it within your family for sure. Yeah, who cares if the Knicks aren't like an all-time team? They just won like that's like the word. That's like the ultimate like I give up argument. Like I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that at all. They thoroughly deserved it too. Like nothing really broke their way, I would say. As a matter of fact, things were working against them a little bit in the finals. I think we can get to that.
Yeah.
Health-wise, officiating-wise, they like the Sixers deserved to beat the Celtics, and the Knicks beat them handedly. And the Cavs deserved to get to where they got to, barely, and the Knicks beat them handedly. And obviously the Spurs were amazing this year, an unbelievable team. And even though I feel like their offense fell off a cliff in the finals, Knicks got it done in 5, and it was something to watch. I do want to throw. I feel like we should talk about Brunson a little bit, so I do want to kind of throw that at you.
Let's start there.
Did he? This is kind of a first take topic, but what like? I mean, you watched him a million times this season. You watched him in the playoffs last year, the year before. Like, did he prove anything new to you in this finals? Because the shooting stats weren't great the first couple games, and obviously playing through some pain. And then he delivers one of the all-time great closeout games. It's not a game 6 or a game 7, but you learn anything new about Jalen Brunson?
No, to be truthful, as a Knicks fan that's watched game in and game out since he signed with this team back in the summer of 23.
Yeah.
No, not really. And it's funny. Or 22, did he sign? 22, he's been here 4 years, excuse me. Mm-hmm. It's funny, I saw Bill Simmons, he actually tweeted, this game is ridiculous even for Jalen Brunson, or something to the degree of like not even Jalen Brunson could imagine this type of game in Game 5. And I saw a lot of Knicks fans, including myself, respond to that, said, no, we've actually been watching this for 4 years. We watched in Game 6 against Miami where he had 41, and R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle shot a combined 3 for 24 from the field, and he willed them to 1 point. He turned the ball over last second trying to thread a needle pass. And since then, you've seen it with Philadelphia. He had in 2024, the games that he was on the same stretch as Michael Jordan, 4 games, 40 points.
Yep.
That also started against Indiana the next series. Last year against Boston, bringing this team back. And then this year, I mean, obviously they were dominant. He didn't have to. The first 3 closeout games they played this year in this postseason, he didn't play second in the fourth quarter against Atlanta, Philly, or Cleveland. That's how dominant they were. So we didn't see those big clutch moments. We saw it against Cleveland Game 1, but in closeout games, we hadn't seen it. Yes, he was insane in Game 5. Yes, he scored 15 in the fourth. Yes, he scored 45 when the team scored 49.
Yeah.
But I told my dad when I watched this game, and this is because I watch all these Knicks games, whether it be them coming back versus the Rockets in a random February Saturday night game where he just wills them to a victory after a bad shooting night, or games against Sacramento a couple years. Like, all these games, I told my dad watching the game, he looks so even-keeled. Even when they were down in that second quarter, he knows, and I think Spurs players, Spurs fans, Knicks fans, everyone watching knows, Brunson's thinking to himself, let me just make it a close game or somewhat close heading into the fourth quarter, and I got this. Yeah. Like, there is no doubt in my mind when they finished the third quarter and they were down 7, and I said, we're going to win this game. Heck, when they were down 5 at halftime and they played some of the worst basketball you could have imagined watching, I said, they're going to win this ball game. Like, the fact Jalen Brunson is on your basketball team, my basketball team as a fan, you never lose doubt. It just, the epitome of clutch. He is the clutch player of the year from 2 years ago. We saw it against Detroit last year, sends them home packing. Like, I don't think you learned anything new from Jalen Brunson. Yeah. But if you doubted him, you certainly did. Like, Knicks fans, this is what we've seen. But for national media, that, again, people between Game 4 and Game 5 were like, there's no way. I saw people saying OG and Cat have a better shot at winning Finals MVP before Brunson. And okay, I understand they had some big shots, they made some big plays, and Brunson's efficiency wasn't good. He's a 1A. I mean, we could talk about Becky Hammond, whatever she said. It's a definition of a 1A, a superstar, and Brunson did it in Game 5. So as a Knicks fan, I'm not surprised, but I'm not shook, or I'm not surprised that the national people that don't tune in every night are surprised by it. It's just what Jalen Brunson does.
Yeah, he proves people wrong. I'm generally frustrated by the discourse when they talk about giving Finals MVP to someone other than the one. I thought Tatum probably should have won it with Boston. Curry probably should have Iguodala's. Totally. Yeah.
Yep. And I just want to say this, because as a Knicks fan, none of us cared who won Finals MVP. It was just a national discourse. Like, you could have gave it to you could have gave it to Ariel Hukporty, who played 4 minutes in Game 5.
Yeah,
we don't care.
That block was sick, though.
The greatest 4 minutes Ariel Hukporty's ever played in his life. Right? He celebrated it afterwards, seeing videos of him. Yeah. But we didn't care. If you got the chip, that's all that matters. And you know what? I think Jalen Brunson, that all that mattered to him as well. Obviously, it's the cherry on top of the Finals MVP. But yeah, it was just a national discourse. It's all right, fun. Have your tweets. Go back and forth on Twitter. And I'm not saying that to say OG or Cat wasn't deserving of winning Finals MVP. OG was spectacular. Cat was great the first 2 games for sure, and then kind of got into foul trouble the next 3. Yeah. But yeah, no, Finals MVP, it's Jalen Brunson. The guy scored 30 in 4 out of the 5 games, and willed the team to 4 victories in the fourth quarter. So, didn't surprise me.
Yeah, Tony Parker's another one. He got one over Tim Duncan, 2007, I believe. It's come on, man, it's Tim Duncan. Give him the Finals MVP. The thing I love about title-winning teams, the teams that go all the way, is that everybody kind of gets to have their moment. Every player who contributes in any small way has to have a moment where they're relied on and they deliver. What was your favorite one of those? I would say outside of the obvious Anunoby tip-in, which is genuinely one of the greatest moments in NBA history. I mean, there are a lot. There were heart moments. Bridges got his shooting together. Cat did some good games. Out of the peanut gallery and outside of that obvious Anunoby game, what do you think was the best role player moment?
Best role player moment. I think Cat having those first 2 games. Seeing the people in the national media just praise Cat after games 1 and games 2. And again, he didn't play great down the stretch, but they got the win, it's whatever. But I see people now that are Cat just punched his ticket to the Hall of Fame. He did. Officially just punched his ticket to the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And people are, Jimmy Butler, where's your ring? All these narratives around
I
Cat.
hate that. I hate that. I saw that picture. And the NBA Hall of Fame, by the way, quite lenient with who they let in, so that's why Cat qualifies now. Mm-hmm. But I saw that, dude. It was Andrew Wiggins, Jeff Teague, also, Cat, and Jimmy Butler, and it's who doesn't have a ring? It's come on, Jimmy Butler was a 1, dragged the Heat to the finals twice. Obviously, Jimmy Butler was the best player on the team. But I see your point, and it's cool. It's cool to see the love that that Cat has got, especially I remember what happened in 2020, dude. I mean, that guy was going through it, and his outlook on life seems so different now, so changed, but also quite nice and lovely and encouraging, and seeing people appreciate him as a person after hating on him as a person, really, for not the best reasons I would say in the past,
Yeah.
is really nice.
Can I tell you another role player moment that
Yeah.
I absolutely love, and not one moment in particular? It's Jose Alvarado in the fourth quarter of Game
Oh
Four.
yeah, man.
A Brooklyn kid that said he almost cried on the court afterwards in
Yeah.
Game Four because he's like, "I'm playing for the Knicks. I'm playing for my city, something that matters, and I just contributed." He said it's the greatest 8 points he's ever scored in his career, and he's true. He knocks down 2 threes. He has the little layup where he goes back. Wemby goes to the corner, then he spins around on Champagne and lays it up over a Queens kid. They played against each other in high school. They were trash talking in Game One. Like they got a rivalry. To see Alvarado, who hadn't played any minutes with Brunson, played barely any in the regular season, none of the postseason with Brunson. Mike Brown says, I got to have another ball handler out there.
Yeah.
And Alvarado comes through. When they went up 7, it was 104 to 97. Like 4 minutes left to go, 3 minutes left to go. I was like, geez, do we just is that the game? Is that just going to be too much with too little time? And Brunson gets doubled and flips it out to Alvarado. And I've said this plenty of times. I don't know if Jose Alvarado shooting threes in the fourth quarter is what you want for the Knicks offense, but he lets that three go right around the top of the three-point line. Money, 104, 100. 4-point game's like, all right, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. So to see him, like, I think he's about to have a J.R. Smith type of parade.
Oh,
He's at
yeah.
the Puerto Rican. He was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade yesterday, shirt off, drinking. Jordan Clarkson was with him. He said on Mello's podcast a couple months ago, I'm going to be drunk for 8 days. I don't think he's lying about that. So to see him have that moment, that was incredible. I was so happy to see Alvarado. The fourth quarter run he had in that Game 4 is one of the big reasons the Knicks came back in that ball game.
One of the cool things that's going to happen going forward now that they've won this title is like even after these guys age out, after this team breaks up and whatever, they're going to like keep coming back to the Garden and be legends. And Alvarado is one of those guys. They'll show him on the Jumbotron in 5-10 years and he's going to get the biggest ovation because he's a champion and a New York guy. I will say the Knicks are doing they're doing all their media today. Like they're going on all the shows. I think they were on Good Morning America. They're on First Take today. Someone's got to take Mikhail's phone.
He was on Instagram Live for like an hour. He's a savage. He's a savage. He's a savage. He's drunk. He took a shot at 9 o'clock. He took a few more on live. He was drinking straight out of the tequila bottle they had, just pouring it right back. Like Mikal Bridges, and props to him, man. He's gone through so much. Just like people can't stand, what he got traded for, throwing it back at him.
Yeah.
I mean, this playoff run, it silenced. It just silenced people because. All right, you got a chip. What else can you ask for? I think Bridges quietly had a very good Game 5. He had 14 points. I told my dad when I was watching, like, this might have to be a Bridges game because OG just wasn't himself in Game 5, wasn't getting the shots to fall. Cat obviously was in foul trouble, and they needed that second option. Bridges came through with some big-time shots, and also Josh Hart, the Nova connection. He had a couple threes to keep them within arm's length a couple times. But, yeah, no, Bridges is going insane. They got Brunson on First Take.
Yeah.
He did The View. They were on Good Morning America, Today's Show, and then tonight they're on Fallon.
Did you see?
Yeah, OG, Go ahead.
Brunson, not
No, you're
Brunson.
great.
Mikhail was just like showing off the jerseys he has at his place, and he like filmed DiVincenzo's jersey, and he was like fake tearing up about it. And then he was like Austin Reeves' jersey. I can't use the exact words Mikhail was using, but he was like, "This guy's a bucket." He was just like going on like random tangents about it. The Nova
He got
thing
on the
is,
floor.
go ahead.
He got on the floor and started singing to his dog. His dog walked away. And Brunson, I think that was right around the time Brunson's like, someone take Mikhail's phone. And someone in the comments of Brunson's tweets like, even his dog's walking away. It's got to be time to get the phone. But yeah, no, he's enjoying it to the max.
It's all in just like the spirit of pure joy, which is awesome. And the Nova thing is so cool. I can't imagine how amazing that is. Like it's so hard to get to the NBA, and there's so few players in the NBA. The fact that like, I mean, Dante was there, but obviously like you link up with like two of your buddies from college who you won 2 championships with, and do one in the NBA. Like that's pretty insane. Again, with how few, like the Eagles kind of did it with all their Georgia guys on defense, but like in the NBA, like three out of your 5 starters played college ball together and won a championship. Like that just doesn't happen. And weren't like incredibly highly touted prospects either. Brunson's a 2nd round pick. Bridges was like late first, right? I mean, like it's pretty. It's amazing to see what they did, man. Power of friendship, but also like the value of chemistry. Like, Good.
And it's just a culture they built.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was just the Nova guys that built the culture, but I mean, it's funny. I've seen videos of just flashbacks to when Brunson signed. And again, it's entirely different team other than, say, Brunson and Mitchell Robinson. It's a whole different team from when you look at those R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Julius Randle teams from 23. And it's funny to just see this Knicks team. It's a culture. Like, all five guys
Yeah.
seemingly enjoy themselves, and so is the bench guys. The bench guys, Tyler Kolek's walking around in a mink coat that Clyde Frazier gave him after the finals because they're both with Puma. And they love it. Like, it blows my mind because Danny Green came out with something an hour before Game 1 against Atlanta, and he said, "I'm not picking the Knicks because I heard from inside the locker room that they can't. It's going to blow up. They can't stand each other. There's division within the locker room." And it couldn't be any more false.
Yeah.
And to see these guys do media and to see them laugh at each other and do all these different things, like, it's so clear that this team is like so close. And again, I don't want to look too far ahead. I don't want to look past this one because it took 53 years to get back to this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in their window. They have all these guys signed for next year and the year after. Like, this is still their window that Leon Rose and Worldwide West and all these guys created. Said, we're going to get guys 27, 28, 29, 30 years old in that range and say, all right, we got 3 to 4 years, hopefully, to make a run. And they're still in that window. Last year was the first year. Honestly, they thought they were even ahead of schedule last year, trading for Cat right before training camp started, had to do everything on the fly. This was like, all right, you got to get to the finals this year. And they did. They're still in their window for another year to 2 years, maybe 3, but probably 2 years. They're still in that championship window.
Yeah. Thing is about that, past 8 seasons, Luke, 8 different champions, right? Since 19, Raptors, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder, Knicks. There is definitely, I think they'll be good next year, obviously. But my instinct right now, looking toward, and we shouldn't be looking toward next year yet, but my instinct is someone different's going to win it. And obviously, I think the Spurs will probably be title favorites going into next year with the books. But there definitely seems to be some sustainability here because why would you leave? Like, if you're one of the core guys, like you, and maybe some guys want to go somewhere where they get more shots, but everyone like sacrificed to be on this team and won a championship together. I don't know why like this core would ever break up. So yeah, I think you've got something here for the next couple of years at least.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to look past it. I'm not going to say, hey, they're going back to back because we saw. I mean, the West is a monster. The East is going to be better with Halliburton back.
Yes.
Rumors of Giannis going to Boston. That's going to be a threat if that were to happen. Obviously, but I want to see also with the Knicks. You know, they're going to run it back with their starting 5. They'll be back, but I got to see. How are they going to extend Mitchell Robinson? Are they going to bring back Landry Shamet? Like, you're going to need to figure it out. They're going to go over that at second apron. So they're going to need to figure things out. Jose Alvarado is a player option. I'm sure rumors, it sounds like he's going to opt out and he'll probably get some money. So he might not be back. But at the end of the day, Jordan Clarkson, he's a free agent, whether or not they want to bring him back. I want to see what they do with the bench because the bench was a big part as to why they got there. So at the moment, I'm not making any proclamations. I'm not going, they're back-to-back champion. No, we're going to enjoy this one. But I do think, especially in that Eastern Conference, I mean, they're going to be right in top of the mix, even if they're a 3 seed going into the playoffs next year, a 4 seed.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to playoff time, they show you what they can do.
Yeah.
They'll be right at the top of, okay, can they make it back to the finals? Then you get to the finals against a Western Conference team, and it's a crapshoot to that, to say so. So I think they'll be among the mix, obviously, next year. So it should be fun to see.
Yeah. The league, I think a big reason for like the title parity in the league is because it's become like this weak link league or weakest link league where like you go as far as like you're the last guy in your rotation, like the 8th, 9th guy in your rotation. How good are they? And that's kind of a barometer. And you kind of saw like even just little cracks in the depth of OKC kind of sunk them this year. And with the Spurs too, who I suppose we should talk about. First though, I do want to say Mike Brown, great job this year. Obviously, kind of wasn't the first choice for the Knicks. you feel like Tibbs kind of like toughened this team up the past couple of years, and then Mike Brown brought in like the real basketball evolution that they needed and the obvious use of the bench. So what did Mike Brown change, I guess, is my question for you.
And that's a great question because I saw Brian Scalabrine actually talking about this today. He said, you look at the minutes, because everyone talked about minutes last year. They're about the same. He looked at the defense, about the same. The offensive numbers, about the same as last year with Tibbs. But what Mike Brown brought was if something wasn't going well, he changed it. And that's something that he said a lot of teams in the league, it sounds easy, don't do. When the Celtics are missing a million three-pointers in a game and they're falling behind, or they're losing a lead, they don't change it. They just keep doing it. The Spurs, we saw that in Game 4. They're shooting a million three-pointers, like 8 straight possessions where they shoot a three-pointer, and the Knicks are clawing back in the game. They don't change their strategy. Mike Brown, Game 4, says, you know what? I think I need Jose Alvarado in this. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to change, and I'm going to see if it works. I don't know if Cat can be the hub or going to be our guy in Game 4 against Atlanta, but you know what? Let's do this. I think it will work, and it sparks one of the most dominant runs in playoff history. He just made changes that helped this Knicks team, and that was a question with Tibbs. He was so stuck in his ways sometimes, and again, I'm a Tibbs guy. I like Tibbs. I think he built this culture. Props to Tibbs, everything he did. But I think Mike Brown, he wasn't afraid of change, and players have talked about that. He has an open door. Hey, come talk to me. Let's collaborate. And the changes he made, he out-coached Mitch Johnson in this series.
No doubt.
He did a great job, and he, again, I think just able to make a change. All right, if it's not your night, I'm going to sit you. Deuce McBride, if you're not playing well, I got to sit you. I got to put Jordan Clarkson in. Clarkson in Game 3 would have been a Clarkson game. He had 10 points off the bench. He played a big factor in Game 3. They just didn't get the victory. Being able to make a change, and maybe that's ego, maybe it's stuck in your ways. I don't know what it is, but Mike Brown did so and helped lead this team to a victory.
Before we talk Spurs, I want 2 things from you. First of all, what was the Knicks celebrity fan moment after winning the title you liked the most? I'm interested in this because there were so many.
Are you talking about just after Game 5 or just in the playoffs?
After winning the title, just like who are you like happiest to see like so joyous about these Knicks?
Obviously Spike. You know, Spike's been there forever. Obviously Spike. Ben Stiller, he's been recording on his phone. Word on the street, he has an HBO documentary coming out soon.
That would be sick. Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently he's been recording that because I was wondering because before the finals, media day and practice, he was there. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, oh, interesting. And he's recording and he got his press credential. And then word started to leak that, hey, HBO is having him film something for a documentary. And then they asked him on Inside the NBA and he said, yeah, it'll be around. I can't say exactly, but it'll be out there. So that was awesome to see. Chalamet traveling to every game was awesome to see as well. One of my favorite moments is after Game 4 victory, there's a view from inside the stands, inside this arena. And Mariska Harvati, or however you pronounce her last name, she's going crazy. She's hugging Taylor Swift. They're sitting right there courtside, right? And Tracy Morgan's sitting right next to him. And the whole garden's going crazy, and Tracy Morgan has his head in his hands. And you could just tell, like, everything, all the bad Knicks moments hit him. And he's thinking, we just did this. We just got rid of all those ghosts. Yeah. And it was so cool to see Tracy Morgan, who puked on the garden floor a couple years ago, right? like he gets to see this. Fat Joe waving at Wemby, looking like he's on a different planet, like he just, smoked everything in San Antonio before he got to the stadium. Arena, excuse me. Yeah. Looking like a inflatable car sales doll or whatever it was. All of it. Again, I know people that aren't from New York or can't stand the Knicks are thinking, oh, man, celebrities are fake fans. Yeah, there are people that were there. Robert Kraft was there. Yeah. Jay-Z, who was an owner of the Brooklyn Nets, was there. All these different things. And, it's a big event. They want to be there. But the Knicks also got plenty of hardcore celebrities that are real diehard fans. Yeah. So I was happy to see, them show their support. Chalamet and Stiller were in the locker room afterwards. Chalamet got dumped with champagne. So it was cool to see all of that.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that those guys are real fans. I was watching the USMNT play in the World Cup the other night, and they would not stop showing just like random celebrities in the crowd, and it kind of drove me nuts because it was like, everyone's being priced out of these World Cup tickets, and we got to see like these celebrities like being just like thrown in our face. But the Knicks, it felt okay when it feels fine it feels good when they show Chalamet and Ben Stiller and Mariska and all that kind of stuff. I do have
honorable mention real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, Larry David's reaction. To
Oh
Josh
my
Hart
God,
blowing the
that was
layup.
so funny.
Almost dying on the sidelines. Larry David.
I love Larry David, dude.
That was awesome. He was on Rich Eisen, I think, the next day.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it, and he's like, "I can't. If there's a game 6, I can't go. I think I might die. Like he's just like too much for me." But seeing his reaction was awesome. Them win. Kirk Herbstreit had a great angle. He recorded the OG chip in, which is random. You know, I was like, Kirk Herbstreit.
What's Herbstreit doing there? Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? But no, yeah. See, Larry David was an honorable mention because we were able to win. If we didn't, then that would have been, oh my God, Josh Hart, what did you do? But now that they won, you can laugh about it.
Yeah, that clip would live forever, and it still will. Yeah, Herbstreit. Someone like AI'd his dog in there, that was really fun. That made me laugh out loud really hard. I have one more thing for you. It's quite important because when I saw the Knicks go on First Take today, and I just felt like I should throw this at you. Are you willing to bury the hatchet with Stephen A. Smith?
I just shook my head no, but yeah.
Wow.
I am. I am. You know what? As a fan, you can celebrate.
Yeah.
He's obviously been a fan much longer than me, obviously. You know, I'm much younger. And I think Brunson was funny. Brunson was funny because Stephen A. is like, oh, I won't criticize you again. And Brunson was like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he's not letting him off the hook.
Similar. Yeah. I don't know if you saw after Game 4, Draymond Green was like, I'm going to apologize to you here in person. I'll apologize on the internet, whatever. And Brunson just looked at it and was like, appreciate it. Like, stone face. He obviously has heard everything. Brunson's heard everything. Even though Stephen A., every single Knicks move they made, literally, you can look at every single move they made because they acquired all of their guys via trade or free agency, other than Mitchell Robinson, Deuce, and Kolek. He crapped on. He crapped on all of them, right? And it's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, you know what? I can bury the hatchet. If Brunson's can bury the hatchet, let me just say this. I'll go as Brunson goes.
Okay.
Brunson didn't go after Becky Hammon. I'll still go after Becky Hammon. That was ridiculous. No, if Brunson's there, I'll bury the hatchet with Stephen A. I still don't think he's as big as a Knicks fan as any of the other Knicks fans, on Twitter that I listen to, follow. But you know what? I'll bury the hatchet. He can enjoy this championship. I don't have to tell him he can enjoy it, but yeah, you know what? It is what it is. We're champions, so I'll bury the hatchet. Long story short.
Yeah, it definitely eases your heart when you finish the job like that. Becky Hammon is the Becky Hammon thing is crazy because her take was such an easy take. You can say that about most of the great players in the league. He'll probably never win a title, which is essentially what she was saying. Obviously, it was more about Brunson being 6 feet tall and that kind of thing, and small guards and playing the percentages. She was right, but if it's like if you bet something that's minus 10,000, and it's on the off chance you lose that one, it's gonna hurt considering that you had very little to gain from being right about it. So shout out to Becky. Still a great coach, Becky Hammon, but shout out to her. Tough one for her. And
I'll say this: I think Knicks fans were angry with the video, and I texted you this: the tone of the video, he's too small, he won't win, or that one stuck around. And for some reason, people always came back to that video. You can look back at tweets for when the Knicks got beat by Halliburton last year, or the Indiana. They would always say, well, y'all owe Becky Hammon an apology. So it's that one's been circulating for the longest. And, the 1A mantra really came from that, from her saying that. So she's kind of the face of it, even though there's plenty. There's Calvert, who's already eaten crow today. I made sure to watch. He said Brunson could only be he said Brunson could only be a 2 on a good team, a 3 on a great team. Mind you, he said that at the start of the playoffs this year. This wasn't 2 years ago. This was the start of the playoffs this year. All these people, they'll eat crow, whatever. But yeah, Becky Hammon, I think she's already started blocking people, turning Instagram comments off. Yeah. She knows it's coming. She doubled down on it before the finals started. And for Brunson to score 45, do it like that in the same arena, her jersey's retired and hung in the rafters. Mm-hmm. That's sweet revenge right there.
Yeah, Cowherd will do that. I used to listen to Colin Cowherd a lot, not so much anymore. But he will just throw out this guy's a 2, maybe a 3, and it's whoa, dude, that is a heavy accusation. That's 50 players. That's 20 players in between each level. It's there's 21s in the league, and then there's 22s and 23s. That's a wild thing to say, and he'll just kind of throw it out to fill airtime sometimes. So I'm glad you're getting on Cowherd, and that's the best part of winning a championship. Go ahead.
I try not to listen to these people. I listen when I watch a Knicks game, when I'm watching all these finals games, I don't text any of my friends that aren't Knicks fans.
Yeah.
You know Justin, you know Will. I only texted them during the games. I'll text people back after the games, but during the games, I only text the Knicks fans because they know what we know what we're watching because we've watched this team the whole time. And again, national media, they have so many. They got to watch football, baseball, they have to watch. They can't just key in on the Knicks in Sacramento on a Thursday, randomly playing at 1 a.m. But Knicks fans, we know what we're watching. So I try not to get too angry with national media members. But then Cowherd, he said on the herd. I saw someone post this. He said on the herd, he's got the Spurs in 6 or 7. Then he was on his own podcast that same day and said, I think I'll pick the Knicks in 6 or 7. Playing both sides. So it's national media members, the Knicks fans have their receipts, but again, at the same time, you can't take them too seriously. We have Knicks content creators that we watch, and it's okay, this is how the team really is playing. But, like you said, winning the championship, you can pull the receipts now and go back to all these different things, all the tweets you've bookmarked and everything. So I guess, the prize of being the king at the moment isn't it for New York?
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling just watching all the sports talk shows after any really big win, playoff series win. It's awesome, but after winning a championship, it's just next level because it's undeniable.
It was a pain that they won on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And yesterday, no talk shows on, so it's just highlights and everything. And then today, like you said earlier, the media tour, the press tour, they're going on. So it's all right, there we go. If they won Sunday night, instantly, next morning, everything's being talked about because it was Saturday night. It's okay, we got to wait a day, and now everyone gets to talk their stuff. So, yeah, it was a long 24 hours, but the highlights filled me in.
It's better for what you get out of the players because having them coming off of the championship is always they're on the craziest hangover of their life. At least today, it's kind of mitigated by the bender they've been on. Their bodies have adjusted a little bit, so that's good. Although Anunoby's still on another planet, but but Brunson, I think is a little more eloquent today than he would have been. Yeah.
There's a story from one of the Knicks beat reporters in the championship celebration in the locker room. OG doesn't drink. He doesn't drink at all. And he saw someone walking around with tequila in the locker room. And, the reporter, he's hey, Grady, he said just before that he saw Huck Porty double fisting, 40s. Just let's get it started. And,
that's a good role play, right?
But then, OG grabs the tequila bottle.
Yeah.
Just chugging it, not realizing what it's going to taste like because he doesn't drink, starts coughing, choking, whatever, gives it back, and then everyone's laughing. And then he said 5 seconds later, OG's screw it, goes back for it again, does it again, just choking on the tequila. So it's I'm sure he woke up yesterday with the craziest hangover in the world, and yeah, he looks like he's on another planet right now when he was talking GMA. And he's such a dry humor type of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still just who he is, just the bit right now, or just how, if he's really that hungover still. But either way, yeah, he got his drinking going, seeming after the game.
Yeah, it reminds me of a young Luke Backman at Syracuse University, the way he's getting.
Wow, Vincent just putting out the spot. Whoa. Mom, Dad, no, Vincent's lying.
Yeah,
we're just, making, we're just making, right? Yeah.
I am lying.
Good old blue
On
drinks.
it for the most part. Yeah, the blue drinks.
Yeah, the blue drinks.
What was I gonna say? Oh, shout out to us. We both picked the Knicks. We didn't take them in 5, but we did both take Knicks to win the series. Shout out to us. We saw the vision. I guess we should talk about
3 of the 4 teams in the final 4 of the playoffs we had.
Yeah.
I think we had a pretty successful first season.
I think so.
I think so. All right, should we flip it?
Yeah.
Go to the losers?
Yeah, losers.
Oh, God. San Antonio, a lot to digest from this series. De'Aaron Fox did not play well. Wemby did not. Wemby had his moments, but fourth quarters did not play great. Dylan Harper's a stud.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Harper. I'll say this because we'll get into the negative about the Spurs. Dylan Harper, when he was on the court, he hit shots that as a Knicks fan, I was angry. I texted you, I can't stand Wemby. He's got a hater in life for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand a lot of these guys. But Dylan Harper, he did shots, in Game 5, he hit that little fader to tie to 88 or 90, one of the two. and I literally just was like, all right, that's a good shot. Like, there's nothing you could do. He was like, once he gets a developed 3-point shot, he's gonna be such a problem. He's so nice.
Yeah.
It's like, I couldn't believe they played Fox over him. I can understand, again, you want the veteran presence, but in the crunch time, it really didn't happen. Wasn't there for Fox. But man, Harper is just phenomenal. He's gonna be a stud.
He is probably the number one reason why the Spurs are going to be title favorites next year, because Wemby has obviously room to improve. We'll get to that, but like, Wemby's already a world-class player. But between right now, this moment, and where we will be this time next year, Dylan Harper's role will increase and his game will improve dramatically, because that's what happens when you go from being a rookie just learning things to being a second-year guy. I was obviously so impressed with him. I was still impressed with Castle. He's not like a lot of the games is not like an efficient shooter or anything, but like what you're looking for in these young guys is that they're just like not afraid. And Harper and Castle were the least afraid dudes I've ever seen in my life in these moments in the OKC series. And now here in the finals, Wemby, I called him the best player in the world on our last podcast. I probably think he still is, but deserving of some criticism. Certainly, he's on the radar. Certainly, as a dirty player now. Probably should have seen a suspension. If the series had extended, maybe that would have happened. I don't know, but like,
should have happened before too. Should got a flagrant before.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. It probably would have happened at some point, I guess. But it seemed like he couldn't in a lot of games. Like, as it wore on his body, and that's it's conditioning. It could also be a convention of his very different frame. And Wemby, by the way, gets fouled a lot, especially going for lobs and that kind of thing. Like, obviously, there are things other teams are getting away with Wemby, but I will not mind him receiving some criticism this offseason. Again, still had a good finals, amazing playoff run. This team is way ahead of schedule, probably title favorites going into next year. Perception has changed, though, on Victor. Not mine, I still love him. He's still my guy, but I know he's earned, rightfully, a couple haters, certainly, and you as well. So maybe this will be a point of contention for us going forward.
Yeah, so Wemby, again, you're at Vincent. Can't stand the guy. Like, and again, that's, in the finals, their best player, you can't stand him. But it wasn't just because I think, like Vincent said, right now it's gonna sting. I know Nick Wright had him best player in the world. Nick Wright's backing off that. Whatever,
Drive-by shooting
right,
on today's First Things First from Nick Wright. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And so when we start the season next year, he's going to be the best player in the world. Like, it's the basketball, the skill level, what he played. Like, he's phenomenal. He's incredible. It's the way he carried himself, the way he played. And then down the stretch, he had some bad performances. First, I want to talk about on the court. Conditioning-wise, and I don't know, I said this when they played OKC in the lead up to this finals when we did our last podcast. There was a stretch in those first 3 games where he played more minutes in those 3 games than any 3 games in his career.
Yeah.
And he looked gassed in some of those games. And I said there's going to be games where Wemby isn't the best player in the world because he is gassed. Well, Game 5 of the NBA Finals with 5 minutes left, Wemby has to ask to be subbed out of the ball game to bring Luke Cornett in for the game because he just is winded. It just is winded. And I know Miss Johnson played him 23 minutes in the second half of Game 4. That probably shouldn't have happened when you're up 29 points and he was winded down the stretch there. The conditioning has to be better. And I thought Iman Shumpert hit this on the head so well after the game on the Hoop Collective podcast with Windhorse, Bonatemps, and McMahon. He said, Wemby's got to get in the gym with a Tim Duncan or any type of player. Obviously Duncan with the Spurs, whatever. That just works easy. But tell me, what spot on the court is Wemby's?
Right.
When you need a bucket, what spot is Wemby going to go to? Every player has their spot, right? Jalen Brunson's getting to that mid-range. He's getting to the floater. All these different players, like Curry, obviously, the three-point line. But, they know, all right, I need a bucket. My team needs a bucket. Let me get to this spot because this is where I feel most comfortable.
Yeah.
It felt like this series, there was never that for Wemby. It was, all right, we're going to get you the ball on the perimeter, and we're just going to hope you're going to create like you're a guard.
Yeah.
And Mitchell Robinson and Cat were able to body him up enough where he didn't get to the spot he wanted to get to, whether that was downhill or a specific elbow or something like that. And he just, I don't know if that's getting to the post, back to the basket, catching the ball and doing something, or what it is. But he needs to find a spot on the court because it felt like, again, the Spurs would give him the ball and they didn't know where he was going to go. They're trying to play it off real time. They didn't know, oh, he wants to go here for this shot, and I think he needs to work on that.
Yeah.
The arrogance he showed, he never congratulated the Knicks.
Yeah.
He never shook hands. Luke Cornett, the only Spur that shook hands with any Knicks players.
Wow.
Granted, he was a former Knick. Him and Mitchell Robinson were together years ago when they were rookies.
Yeah.
That's why he did that. I thought that was – I hate doing that because it's little things, but I thought that was kind of pathetic from none of the Spurs. And I get they're young. They got their season. They're done, right? They go – but, like, all right, I think Alan Hahn said it perfectly. When Wemby does eventually win, he's going to realize how much Jalen Brunson taught him what it meant to lose and how to get over that hump.
Yep.
Like, he's going to look back and be like, wow, I was a real dummy when I lost to Jalen Brunson. I mean, the arrogance the entire team showed, they always said they were better, and I know they were up 74% of this series. The Knicks were only up 24% in minutes-wise this series. Unreal. Like, I understand. I thought the mentality when they said that post-game, that's the mentality they're supposed to show, right? They're supposed to say, we gave the game away, during the series. But even after the series, they're like, oh, Wemby said we dominated most of the series. That might have been true, but you didn't dominate the most important part, and that's when the clock hit triple zeros in the fourth quarter, the last 12 minutes. And then you mentioned it, the plays he made, the flagrant fouls he should have got 2 flagrant fouls. We won't know whether or not he was going to be assessed a flagrant for that closeout on Brunson in Game 5. Should have, absolutely. The refereeing and the officiating was horrendous. I hate saying that even though we won, but it was horrendous. You can go back, and it isn't the calls that were made. Some people were like, oh, the Knicks were fouling. Yes, the Knicks were fouling, but the Spurs were also fouling, and it wasn't being called. Yeah. Cat getting 2 early fouls in Game 4, those were ticky-tack fouls. After, in a Game 4 of a finals, when you've let it physical play, you got 2 fouls in the first 65 seconds.
Yeah.
We can go through all of the different, I have, all these different calls I could talk about. But at the end of the day, Wemby, like you said, the perception has changed, and he's going to come into a little bit of a villain next year when this NBA season starts.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with what the Shumpert point is an apt one because, yeah, he does need that signature move. There's an arrogance. You said arrogance a lot. There's an arrogance to how the Spurs ran their offense and how they've been running it where it doesn't lean into the just natural, insane physical advantage you have having Wemby on the floor. And I think they're going to have to do more of that next season. I'm not one of these people who's like Wemby needs to put on like 20 pounds of muscle or whatever. Chet might need to do that a little bit. But frankly, I think Wemby is extremely muscular considering he's 7'7" tall and is going to look skinny no matter what. And frankly, I wouldn't want to add all that weight on to his knees. So I think he's probably fine in terms of strength, but adding to his game is a big deal and is necessary. What's cool about winning a championship, Luke, and I can say this because I've had some like pretty arrogant takes about like Eagles players and Phillies players like in my life just because they've won championships and things like that. You can say Wemby's the best player in the league, but you can always fall back on, but I'd rather have Brunson every day of the week, and no one can say you're wrong. And that's like the coolest. Yeah. That's like the best feeling ever when your guy delivers like that, and you can no one can say shit to you. It's
one point you said, I want to go back before responding to that last point you made, that the Spurs didn't take advantage of Wemby and his physical gifts. There was one play late in the fourth quarter of Game 3 or Game 4, I forget which one it was, but it was at the Garden, I remember. Wemby catches the ball, low post. He's going up, like it looked like, I believe it was a jump shot. Then it was either Cat or Robinson. I can't believe it. I just remember Wemby on the play, but it was one of the 2 bigs on him. They play incredible defense on Wemby. He goes up, then he tries to go back for a fadeaway. Then he just goes and he uses the length to just lay the ball up, just past the outstretched hands of, I think it was Robinson at the time. It's like he could do that almost every single play. Like, and I know it's not, at some point it's going to stop or whatever. Like, he could really, in the clutch, say, I'm just going to be taller and longer than you, pause. Like, it just feels like sometimes they go away from it, and I don't understand it. Sometimes the offense just didn't flow, like you said. Castle had a rough game 5. Harper was phenomenal. Vassell and Champagny, just not great series in general. Keldon Johnson, just no show, really, this entire playoff.
Terrible playoffs, yeah.
Harrison Barnes was unplayable, or they didn't play him down the stretch. Carter Bryant could not get minutes. And I know it's the finals. You got to shorten everything up. You got to go with your best 5. But, yeah. And then Brunson. I had people texting me after Game 3, after the mush of Wemby to Brunson. They were like, oh, Knicks are going to get their revenge. And Mitchell Robinson did get the flagrant foul going up. But I don't think that was because of the moment, the Brunson moment. I think Mitchell Robinson was just frustrated that they were losing and Wemby was cooking them at the moment. And then Alvarado did pick up Wemby, and try and throw him to the ground. But I always said, this team, they texted me, oh, who's going to do it? Who's going to get the flagrant on Wemby or go after him? And I was like, this team, that's not what they're about. Like, I didn't think that anyone was going to actively do that. I did think the Knicks were off their rocker in Game 4 in the first half, trying to play against the refs and be physical with Wemby. But I was like, Brunson, watching him for 4 years, the best way for his revenge is to win.
Yeah.
That's how he's going to get his last laugh.
Yeah.
And they were able to do that in 4, and they were able to do that in Game 5. And that was the best revenge for Jalen Brunson. I didn't think it was going to be, on a pick, I'm going to, hit him in the stomach or anything. And Brunson showed that in Game 5. Hey, Wemby, and I want to say this before, we wrap everything up because I forgot about it up to this point, so I don't want to forget about it. The Knicks targeted Wemby. Yes, he's the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. They targeted him on the perimeter.
Yep.
And I don't want you to look at this comparison and analogy and compare the players, but just compare the position of center being on the perimeter. The Knicks pulled Wemby out like he was Rudy Gobert and said, you got to guard us on the perimeter. And yes, Wemby had his success. He had blocks. He changed altered shots. He got turnovers. Yeah. But in that Game 4, I think someone counted it. In 27 of their 49 possessions, they brought Wemby out and said, we want you as the main defender. We're going to put you in pick-and-roll action so you're out here on the perimeter. They wanted Wemby and obviously get him away from the basket. But Jalen Brunson is like, I'm going to shoot over you. Anunoby, I'm going to jab step you. I'm going to go to the paint. I'm going to dunk on you. Or I'm going to shoot over you as well. They wanted Wemby on them because they thought they could create. And then, again, I think one of the most underrated, one of the best plays of this finals was Game 5 when Wemby's on Brunson, 83-77. Brunson gets him out, little jab to the stomach, a couple stutter steps, right hand finish. Wemby can't block it.
Yep.
At that moment, I tweeted this. I said, at that moment, that's when I knew the Knicks were going to win this ball game. Yep. Down 4, Wemby, no fear against Brunson. Brunson, no fear against Wemby, excuse me. That's when I was like, the Knicks are going to win this championship.
Yeah, that's just classic Brunson, too. He plays such a physical style, but with, being 6 feet tall. What a special player. What a special time, really, to be a sports fan. Like, being a sports fan has not been as rewarding as it used to be. Maybe that's just part of growing up, but there's a lot more, corporate greed and all this, nastiness involved in it. A UFC fight at the White House yesterday. This was an awesome moment, even if you're not a Knicks fan, even if you hate the Knicks. Seeing the unbridled joy brought people, brought a great city. Seeing this awesome team go on this run, the sacrifices they made, that kind of thing. It was really awesome, and it's just been a great sports moment to just take in. And I'd imagine to be a Knicks fan in this moment, it's just the greatest thing ever.
It's truthfully the greatest moment of my sports watching life. Rooting for a team this is. I'm a Yankees, Knicks, Jets fan, obviously Syracuse fan as well.
Yeah.
First time any of my teams have actually reached the pinnacle. Knicks win it. Yankees came very close in 24. Granted, lost in 5 games, but got to the World Series. Won in 09. I was 6 years old, so I partially remember it. Not as big as, partially remember it when you're young. But now being watching this team every game. Watching, living and dying with this team through the playoffs. Man, I don't. It feels like for me, and I was talking with Justin, our mutual friend, we both feel kind of bad. We're tearing up. We're this is insane. We can't believe we saw this. We're 23 years old. We can't imagine the people that are 60, right? That have lived through the Isaiah Thomas, Derek Fisher, Jeff Hornacek, all these different players, coaches. Phil Jackson is the GM, not doing anything. They lived through everything. Oh, yes, we've lived through some tough times. Trust me, I've gone to school here in Texas with Mavs fans, and they've laughed at, me being a Knicks fan for a long time. But it's like, wow, it puts it in perspective for the older fans. Like, this is great for them to see. So again, I think Zach Lowe, I was listening to his podcast last night, the greatest 5-game series maybe in NBA history.
Yeah.
Just what it produced. Adam Silver just saw the ratings galore in that series. Fanatics just announced highest day of sales or highest day after championship sales for 24 hours after any champion in the history of their website. This is just what the Knicks doing. The NBA's gotten a lot of my money over the last 48 hours. NBA, Kith, a Knicks beat reporter announced after they won the Eastern Conference Finals he's writing a book about it. He's incredible, Fred Katz.
Yeah.
He posted the pre-order link instantly, instantly. Book doesn't even come till February. I was like, I'm not even taking any chances. Instantly.
Nice.
He's finishing it this summer. He said beforehand, he's like, I got a couple extra chapters I got to write for hopefully what they do in the finals. So just incredible as a Knicks fan. And I think NBA fans as a whole as well. I know you're a Sixers fan. Just enjoyed the series, and it was good basketball. And exactly,
it was.
You started off this podcast off saying the exact right thing. It's exactly what the NBA needed after a regular season of terrible PR.
Yep.
Just terrible PR and just, is it falling? Like the popularity, just what the NBA needed. You got a little bit of a villain too with Wemby. You got New York going crazy. And there's plenty of other teams still in the cut too for next year. So just incredible finals. Knicks fans can rejoice. Thursday, the parade, going to go crazy in New York City. Then you got the draft coming up. Really soon. I think the draft is in a week and a half or so.
Yeah. Giannis trade watch.
Crazy. Giannis trade watch. Oh my gosh. So yeah, hopefully they can continue to keep this momentum. But what a finals. What an NBA final.
Yep. Amazing.
That's gonna do it here on Court Vision. What a first season. It's been a joy, Vince. I think episode 24. We've been doing this with our previews of the season and then covering the season. I was looking back at some of the old thumbnails and videos from Terry Rozier and the FBI on the third day of the season. One had Josh Giddey. I think that was 2 weeks into the season. Who's impressed us the most? Josh Giddey. He had a really nice season, you also. I texted you this. I mentioned it a podcast or two ago. We talked about having a good season. You called A.J. Mitchell from the jump.
Oh yeah,
Thunder.
He was just awesome the whole year. Yeah.
What a player he's become. I think he's a free agent, so they got to find a way to keep him. Or maybe it's Case and Wallace that's a free agent, one of the two. Either way, I think it's been a great season. I appreciate you doing this with me. I know I texted you, and I was like, hey, I thought Vincent would be the perfect guy to do a podcast with. I appreciate you doing it, making time. I know you've been busy or swamped with the World Cup, so I appreciate you making time. It's been some of the most fun here making content on the channel.
Dude, it's been awesome. I'm glad you tasked me with doing it, and we got rewarded for it. With how the season ended, we documented the season the Knicks won their first title in 50 plus years. That's the coolest thing ever. That's like fate or God or some shit like that. So it was awesome, and I can't wait to keep doing it. Can't wait.
Like we said, 2026 season over. 26, 27 season upcoming, draft coming soon. We'll probably have reactions to all of this stuff. Vincent's. He's keeping an eye on the World Cup. I see the shirt right there.
Yeah. 94 action.
World Cup 94. There we go. So appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video. Tell us who your favorite is for next season to win the NBA title down below. Luke Backman, my co-host Vincent Zaki. Appreciate it. New York Knicks are NBA champions here. That's all we got on Court Vision. Peace. We're out.